Unfortunately, Donald J. Trump is still alive. We're gonna start with that. Um, Hello, it is April 6th. Um, he is still alive and unfortunately is still very delusional as he has been. We'll start with him talking about how apparently he understands the American people, which he has no fucking idea of. He looks at polls, but unfortunately, the polls that he looks at are purely based on his own fucking people. So it's quite literally artificially made for him to look like what he's doing is good. So, is it? Here it is. Actually, hold on. I'll let you listen along also. Share screen. Yeah, there. So you can listen.
People don't want that. How
All
do
right.
you know that? Are you listening to polls?
Well, I tell you what, I'm pretty good at this stuff, and I go around and I check. They'd like to see us win and come home. And I appreciate CNN for the first time maybe in my life. They did a poll, and everyone's saying, oh, is Trump losing MAGA? No, I'm not losing MAGA. MAGA loves what I'm doing. And CNN did a poll of MAGA voters, a big poll, very important poll, Harry. And he went on, he said, this is amazing, 100% support. He said, I've never had a 100% poll at anything before. And is, do you support Trump, MAGA people, which is, by the way, mostly Republican. And if you look, I would say MAGA makes up a majority, like about 95% of the Republican Party, all right? So they went out, they did a poll, and CNN came back 100% support. So they support what we're doing, but they would like to see it end and come back. But remember, wars last years. We're in there for 34 days, and we've obliterated a very powerful country in 34 days.
We haven't obliterated shit. Words I don't even know what to say. They literally hand him what he wants to hear and he's happy with it. That's quite literally all this is. Like, let's see. Hold on, I had something here. Okay, here it is. Journalist in Iran confirms Trump and Israel has bombed over 30 universities, 760 schools, and hospitals. Professors assassinated, university students killed in their own homes. This isn't liberation. This is systematic destruction of Iran's scientific future.
Of the Iranian capital at the campus of Shahid Beheshti University, where this laser and plasma research institute was targeted. On Friday, a U.S. Israeli strike hit the university in Tehran, badly damaging those facilities. It's not the first to be targeted. Earlier this week, attacks struck the Iran University of Science and Technology. Last month, one of its faculty members was killed at home, along with his two children. Iran's Minister of Science, Research and Technology told Al Jazeera that more than 30 universities have been targeted so far.
More than 60 university students have been martyred to date, along with several professors. This not only brings international responsibility, but will also forever tarnish humanity's memory of the aggressors. Humanity will never forget that the US, with all its claims of upholding human rights, has now targeted knowledge and scholars.
In the northern
Got another one here. Where is
This
it?
is really it. The Red Crescent says
That's the
more
rest of
than
it, I believe.
760 schools have been hit. Over the past weeks, the scope of those strikes has expanded as the US and Israel increasingly attack civilian infrastructure. We are in southern areas of the Iranian capital, Tehran, where a residential and commercial area was targeted, and this building, a hospital, was severely impacted. A US-Israeli attack hit this area last weekend. It destroyed the market that was here. Across the street, the force of explosion also caused extensive damage to Del Aram Sina Hospital. Hospital management says it has been impossible for them to continue caring for patients.
The blast from the airstrike on the street outside caused serious damage to the hospital. Most of our patients have mental health conditions, and a calm environment is essential for their care.
Inside the hospital, the extent of the destruction is even more apparent. This is shrapnel inside one of the rooms of the ground floor of this hospital, and the damage obviously extends to other parts like this one. According to Iran's Ministry of Health, more than 350 health centers have been damaged since the start of the war, and the Red Crescent says at least 8.
I believe that's all of it. Yeah. Okay.
The Red Crescent.
I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, and this isn't me playing a part of MAGA. This is far from it. But here's the thing. Let's take it back of 2001. Saddam Hussein, terrible fucking human being. Did we need to go into there and liberate his people? No. Same thing with Iran. Do we need to go in there and liberate the people of Iran? No. Let's even go further with Cuba. Every single military occupation we have done has hurt civilians more than it has military occupants. All right, back to more delusions. Here is Trump in 2019 with a Twitter post, basically attacking Obama's Iran policies in an attempt to rewrite history and hide his past hypocrisies. The United States has spent $8 trillion fighting and policing in the Middle East. Thousands of our great soldiers have died and been badly wounded. Millions of people have died on the other side. Going into the Middle East is the worst decision ever made. Why are we in the Middle East to begin with, then? You cannot trust a single fucking word this stupid fuck says. You can't. And if you do, I don't know how to help you. I really don't know how to help you. Like, I don't. All right. We have a fucking brain. Sorry, not built for this today. The journalist and representative Moulton talking about Trump, and basically this is how the rest of the world sees Trump, and unfortunately this is the only way that we can basically compare Trump as, instead of a fucking child.
On the question of the use of ground troops, the only thing that I felt I took away, and again, I can be telling myself a lie here because anything can change, it did seem that he did not, that was not the direction things were going, a ground invasion. Did you get that sense?
Chris, I'm not a child psychologist, so I can't understand the mind of Donald Trump. But
it is that fucking easy to humiliate this bastard into basically comparing him to that of a child, because that's what he is. If he doesn't get what he wants, he goes on the offensive of things. If you attack him for his character and you completely demolish him in that aspect, he attacks you in derogatory ways. Like anytime a woman will say anything to him that is damning and is truthful, he immediately goes into calling them derogatory terms like piggy and whatnot. That is our president. What do we got here? Anna Mockler had a bunch of MAGA people on, and essentially they tried to lie through they attempted to lie, and they literally would not fucking listen.
The other day that I think is very interesting. When NATO was being negotiated in about 1948, the United States, specifically us, we asked for a new clause, Article 6. That limited the geography of the defense. So the geography of NATO's defense is limited to Europe and the United States. So this is not even a task that, number one, is in NATO. Number two, as you said, it's a defensive alliance. Also, I just want to read off, I think it's worth reading off some of the quotes we've gotten from Trump. In January of 2026, he said, "It may be a choice between preserving NATO or seizing Greenland." He refused to rule out the use of military force. He also threatened, he actually threatened to impose a 25% import tax on all of the European Union if they didn't just give us Greenland.
Why was he concerned about Greenland? He was concerned because he was unsure whether or not the Europeans could be relied upon in a difficult moment where they were putting the squeeze to.
When is the only
on whether
time
or not
Article
we
5
could
has been
use that.
invoked?
Yes, it was post 9/11.
And who are they helping? Us.
And
So
now
they are
you're,
reliable.
you're talking
Hang on
about
a second. So
they're
are you
suffering
suggesting
from the
that
closure of the Strait of
that
Hormuz.
Trump was threatening to attack Greenland because he was worried that the United States or that Europe wasn't going to hold up its end of the NATO bargain? I'm not sure I'm
No,
following
they're-
that argument.
Let's blow up
the
NATO
argu-
to save NATO.
No, the argument for why we needed to expand our facilities in Greenland was that the Danes were unwilling to expand on the current terms
That is,
of
no,
our
that is
defense
actually
agreement.
totally
Yes, in
not.
2004,
that
the
is not.
Igualaku
No,
Amendment
Th-
to
that
the
is
original
co-
defense
I'm
agreement.
sorry, Peter. That is
Hemmed it in.
revisionist. That is revisionist.
In what
Trump
sense, please?
never once. This is in the reporting.
Mhm.
He never once brought up expanding our military engagement in Greenland with the Danes in private, despite all of the public things that they were saying. It never came up once.
These people are just fucking delusional. They're completely fucking delusional. Not even to mention that Trump has deliberately attempted to try to woo the people of Greenland over with monetary value of things. And they basically told him to fuck off because they realize if the US holds Greenland, they're going to have a worse life to begin with than they already have, which their life is fucking great compared to ours. They have shit that we could ever only fucking dream of. Mind you, the fact that they are their own people. The Danes allow them to be their own fucking people. They don't control them. More. Yes. Retired female U.S. Army officer recalling incidents of the Iran Minab school, basically defining us as terrorists, which is what we are. We are the terrorist. We are not here to be the police of the world. We are terrorists.
My name's Josephine Gilbo. I'm a former intelligence officer. I spent 17 years in the U.S. Army. A modern Tomahawk missile is equipped with onboard cameras. Satellite imagery is constantly collected by several intelligence agencies, several countries, in real time. The entire school was surrounded by colorful children painting flower, bright color murals, and it was, without a doubt, a school if you looked at it through satellite imagery. At 10 a.m., Israel, along with the United States, began attacking Iran. By 10:20, the staff at Minab School began evacuating the children. Strike one hit the school. The kids moved to the prayer room. Strike two hit the prayer room. 163 kids dead. Multiple sources, including intelligence reports, regional sources, and U.S. officials are required to confirm a target for the U.S. Navy and military operations to ensure accuracy and reduce errors. This is how it works. We just bombed a school knowing it was a school. Who are the terrorists? Who are the bad guys in this story? This is the story of our timeline. By our own definition of terrorism, and I can say this as a former counterterrorist officer, we are the terrorists. We are the bad guys.
And then you got comments here of delusional fucking people. Mind you, there is an entire attack plan which deliberately goes over the school. So we know exactly what we were attacking to begin with. We were fully aware. She is a complete idiot, blind, hateful against her own country. 47 years Iran terrorized the world. Enough is enough. Just because of what the government does, how does that justify killing hundreds of kids? Another one. Yeah, that was a horrible mistake, and I'm sure whoever's responsible for that launch feels horribly guilty about it because what happened was not the intention or the American way. The absolute fucking delusions of these fucking people. If we didn't mean to do it, that wouldn't have been the first fucking thing we attacked. But we knew exactly what we were doing. That's why we bombed it fucking twice. Okay, next one. All right. On to some more lighter news of failed Fox reporter, alcoholic Pete Kegsbreath. I'm going to show you more contradictions of our government here. Just like I was showing about Trump and how he contradicts everything he fucking says, because what he says today is not what he's going to say next week, or even 20 minutes from after he said what he just said.
Many of your work colleagues have said that you show up for work under the influence of alcohol or drunk. I know you've denied that, but you would agree with me, right, that if that was the case, that would be disqualifying for somebody to be Secretary of Defense.
Senator, those are all anonymous false claims, and the totality...
They're not...
Again, the same thing as yesterday's video. The specific fucking question is directly talking, like, we're literally asking you, would this kind of behavior disqualify somebody, not you, somebody to be Secretary of Defense? Immediately goes on a defensive, denying all false charges. Mind you, there is a fucking press interview where he actively, continuously grabs a fucking glass with some form of fucking liquid, which is presumed to be fucking alcohol, and then puts it back down. And at some point, he slurs his own fucking words. But let's continue.
They're not anonymous.
The letters on the record here.
They're not anonymous.
On the record,
we've seen records with names
Vets
attached
for Freedom, Concerned Vets for America, and Fox News attributing to me being working hard every day on behalf of
one of your
mission.
colleagues said that you got drunk at an event at a bar and chanted, "Kill all Muslims." Another colleague, not anonymous, we have this, said that you took co-workers to a strip club. You were drunk, you tried to dance with strippers, you had to be held off the stage, and one of your employees in that event filed a sexual harassment charge as a result of it. Now, I know you denied these things, but isn't that the kind of behavior that, if true, would be disqualifying for somebody to be Secretary of Defense?
Senator, anonymous false charges.
They're not anonymous. And
it goes on a defensive, completely spouts bullshit. Again, specifically has said 3 to 4 times they are not anonymous claims, but still refuses to answer a simple fucking question if they were true. Not that they are true, but if they are true, would that disqualify somebody? Again, not you, you stupid fuck.
And I'll just conclude and say this to the chairman. You claim that this was all anonymous. We have seen records with names attached to all of these, including the name of your own mother. So don't make this into some anonymous press thing. We have seen multiple names of colleagues consistently throughout your career that have talked about your abusive actions,
Chairman,
attitudes,
I think he's
words,
over
and
his time.
statements
He's way
to
over.
His own fucking mother is part of these claims. Not anonymous, his colleagues, his own mother, about his previous abuse, abuse charges. We got more here. All right. So, I believe this is right before or right after Trump got inaugurated or got the vote. I can't remember exact times. This is said Secretary of Defense or War Crimes.
I've been a recovering neocon for 6 years now. Like the foolishness with which we ricocheted around the world, intervening, think it was in our best interest when really we just overturned the table and created something worse in almost every single scenario, has led to almost, I mean, the hubris of the Pentagon is that they want to now tell other countries how to do counterinsurgency based on what we did in Iraq and Afghanistan. Like, are you kidding me? So you really have learned nothing. Okay, nothing. So you're right. The trust there that our political leaders or our generals would have our best interests in mind is totally broken. It's totally broken.
Mind you, this is the same guy that actively led with the killings of hundreds of kids between 7 to 12. This is the guy that is willing to put many military members, mind you, they still chose to go down there. I don't give a fuck. That's their decision. They are fully grown ass adults. These are not kids. These are grown ass adults. I digress. This is the same motherfucker doing all this, and this was him almost 2 years ago. You cannot trust a single fucking word these motherfuckers say. At all. Okay. Now, back to the thing of how America likes to try to bring peace and freedom to the world. Mind you, a lot of these countries already have freedom, already have some form of peace. Don't get me wrong, there are some places like Iran and Iraq where you have oppressive leaders or authoritarian leaders. They do exist, but you have to leave these to the fucking people. You cannot intervene yourself because you're going to have situations like this.
Was created by your regime. Al-Qaeda was created by your regime. The Al-Qaeda head went to the White House. That's the same organization that you tell us carried out 9/11. So how are we supposed to figure out who's a terrorist in this world with your standards?
Do you think that the regime is going to murder thousands more innocent people in the streets of Tehran and your country?
The only regime that is murdering thousands of people is your regime. You're bombing our people. You're slaughtering kids.
Mind you, let me interject real quick. Also, the fact that we gave weapons to the Kurdish soldiers that are around the Middle East that go in before we put in boots on ground, that actively gave people of Iran weapons to incite more violence against said government.
Your regime bombed an elementary school, and your fake news about Iran killing tens of thousands of protesters has the same amount of accuracy and legitimacy and honesty as your presidents, the head of your regimes, claimed that Iran fired missiles at the school.
You're saying that your forces inside the country didn't kill thousands of people that tried to stand up to the regime as they have done so many times in the past. You're saying that's a complete fabrication.
That is your regime propaganda, absolutely. One woman in your country was turning to the right and you shot her in the face. And you say that's legitimate.
Well, you've blacked out the internet in your country. You don't allow media to report on anything. And you're going to sit here and tell me that you're
assassinating people using the internet. You use the internet to assassinate people.
Iran's new supreme leader is the son of the former Ayatollah. His father did not want this young man to lead your country. That is undeniable. Our intelligence agencies claim that's likely because the young man is gay. Your response to that?
Your use is so fake that it doesn't even deserve a reply.
I know BS, and I know propaganda. I know what it looks like. I know your country is professional
BS.
at that.
I'm sure you know BS because...
All right. Here's my issue with the new Ayatollah. It has nothing to do with him personally, and honestly, I think he's more justified to do the bullshit that I think he's going to do at this point. Is he going to create nukes? More than likely. Why? Because we bombed his entire fucking bloodline. We killed his father. We killed the rest of his family. His father didn't want nukes to begin with. The original Ayatollah didn't want nukes to begin with because it went against their religion. Their son wanted nukes. Why do we want nukes? Because it's talking power. Why don't we fuck with Russia, Japan, China, North Korea, any other country that has nukes? Why? Because nukes are talking power. Because the minute you throw out one, all the other ones go. What we got here? Oh, yeah. More on why I really could give two fucks on what happens to our military if they choose to go do what they do. This was a video back in Iraq of us giving them bringing them democracy.
Open the door! Open the door! Get your hands up and come outside! Come outside!
Mind you, this is some civilian's home. This isn't a government building. This isn't a terrorist group or whatnot. This is just a regular civilian, and we're just interjecting ourselves into their home, or intervening ourselves into their home.
Everybody in the house needs to come outside. No, keep your hands up. Everybody come outside. Push them this way.
These are not the faces of saved lives. Tell me where you see in this we're saving some family. We're doing nothing but destroying a family, taking them away from their home. I have a talking point with this, but I need to. Okay, so this is a phone call with Trump, basically calling brown people's genetics makes them prone to violence.
Shouldn't have been let in. Others are just bad. They go bad. Something wrong. There's something wrong there.
So
the genetics are not exactly. They're not exactly your genetic. It's one of those problems, Brian. It's a terrible thing, and it happens. And it happens too often.
So
a lot of them were let in here. They shouldn't have been let in.
It's genetics. Genetics is the issue. I guess the same thing could be said to me on how I'm a radical left/socialist. It's my genetics, right? I come from a family of Republicans that don't understand right from wrong. That somehow see the difference between that they think Kamala is the worst of the two evils. Well, we literally have a pedophile in the fucking Oval Office. A felon. Felons aren't even allowed to vote, mind you, but we have one in the fucking office. Okay. So this was the clip I wanted to show right after the us bringing democracy to Iraq back in 2001.
ולא השותפים שלך שמגנים עליך מבית ומבחוץ מזיזים לנו כהוא זה. הממשלה הזו לא מגמגמת לגביך. אתה יכול להמשיך לחלום.
I'm sorry, I've used this like. All right, here, let's restart that.
מר כסיף, לא אתה ולא השותפים שלך שמגנים עליך מבית ומבחוץ מזיזים לנו כהוא זה. הממשלה הזו לא מגמגמת לגביך. אתה יכול להמשיך לחלום שנסיים את הלחימה ללא ניצחון. אנחנו לא מתביישים לומר שאנחנו רוצים לראות את חיילי צה"ל הגיבורים והקדושים שלנו תופסים את סינואר והמחבלים שלו באוזניים וגוררים אותם בכל הרצועה בדרך למרתפי שב"ס, אבל שב"ס של בן גביר, לא של בר-לב או מיכאלי, או במקרה הכי טוב לארון קבורה כזה או אחר. אני אישית גאה בהריסות של עזה, ושכל תינוק, גם עוד 80 שנה מהיום, יספר לנכדיו מה עשו היהודים שרצחו להם משפחות, אנסו אותם וחטפו להם אזרחים.
אתה והחברים שלך יכולים לחלום שנאפשר לכם לבנות ממשלה, כי אם אתם חושבים שהפרס על שחיטת יהודים, אונס נשים, עריפת ראשים וחטיפת אזרחים יהיה לקבל לשבת בממשלת שינוי, אתה חולם. תצעקו עד מחר שלום עכשיו ובחירות עכשיו, מקפלן ועד עזה שישמעו אתכם. לנו יש משימה, אני מסיימת, והדבר האחרון שניתן לכם הוא שעופר כסיף יעלה להר הבית עם דגל פלסטין וסינואר יהיה שר הביטחון של המדינה הפלסטינית כמו אחיו ערפאת. לא יונה ולא עלה של זית, רק חרב לערוף לסינואר את הראש, זה מה שהוא יקבל מאיתנו.
They are proud of the fact that they are basically committing a genocide. They still play the victim card of the fact of, no, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna say this. What Hitler did back with Jews, mind you, wasn't just Jews. It was Polish, it was POWs, it was gays, trans, disabled. You want to know who the first people were to go before the Jews? It was disabled people. But they still hold on to this victim card of the Holocaust, which gives them the ability to sit there and do what they do to Palestinians. Mind you, Benjamin Netanyahu is on track to kill more kids in a day on average than Hitler ever was. Mind you, that went on for, what was it, 1940 to 1945? All right. An Israeli soldier orders a Palestinian to walk and then use him as target practice. Long-range shooting. No forgetting, no forgiving. Mind you, the kid isn't armed. Has his back turned, his hands are up. And you can hear them laughing because they're proud of this. They get off on this. This is their sick kink. They get off on this shit. This is what runs our country. Behind the facade of our pedophile president, our couch-loving connoisseur of a vice president, our war criminal of an alcoholic woman abuser that is Pete Hegseth, the brain-eating worm, or the man that had a literal brain-eating worm inside of his head, RFK Jr. That is what basically runs our government. And here's another clip of, now mind you, when Palestinians or Hamas had Israeli what is it? Israeli prisoners. What did they do? They didn't torture them. They gave them food, they gave them shelter, they gave them proper necessities that you're supposed to give people like this. Now, unfortunately, what do Israel or Israelis do when they have Palestinian prisoners? Regardless if they're kids, women, or men. They deprive them of shelter, food, water, regardless if it's shit water, shit food. And I mean in the literal sense of shit. They torture them. They rape them. For no apparent reason besides to get off on their own because what they think they're justifying. What they do is justified because of a previous genocide that had nothing to do with Palestinians. Mind you, I need to find a clip. I had it and I don't remember what I did with it. Hold on. Ah, here it is. 19. I'm gonna turn off the audio because I don't really feel like. I'll fuck it. From Europe as refugees, Jews arrived in Palestine. Mind you, this is immediately following after the genocide of Jews and others. Now, I want you to see how happy the Palestinians are to welcome these people. You let me know if you see anything of torture, rape, or depriving of basic human necessities. You let me know. They welcomed them with open arms. Completely. They were happy to have them. Now, what do the Israelis do 74 years later? They kill them, they rape them, they torture them, they deprive them. For why? For purely existing. Because they decide the fact that Palestine, which wasn't theirs to begin with, was basically given to them without the consent of Palestinians, mind you. Hold on, I got one more thing I want to fucking.
You're also a killer? You're a killer? Killer of babies?
Because I'm Jewish. I'm a kid.
No! Your government. Your Israeli government is doing it.
I'm Israeli.
You are Israeli?
Am I?
You support your government? I don't support my government in all their decisions.
See, this is the perfect example of how you need to combat with Zionists and Israelis. It has nothing to deal with the fact that they're Jews. It has nothing to do with that at all. There's plenty of pro-Palestinian Jews that are actively helping and attempting to fight for Palestine. It has nothing to do with Judaism. Benjamin Netanyahu uses Judaism as a way to get through his bullshit, because the minute you have right-wingers like Nick Fuentes or whoever talking shit about Jews, not Israelis, Jews, oh, don't you see? We got anti-Semitism. We must continue the genocide to stop the anti-Semitism. These stupid fucks basically give him all he needs to continue doing what he does. Mind you, this motherfucker has so many fucking arrest warrants in other countries. The US is the only country where we welcome him in open arms, where he'll spend hours upon hours in the White House. Not to mention purely because of the fact that Israel has hundreds of evidence and videos of Donald Trump raping children because of Jeffrey Epstein. See if I can find a clip, because I remember seeing one earlier.
Matter who your enemy is, you need to destroy their offspring to prevent them from creating more offspring.
These are the settlers in waiting, keen to start a new life, to annex Gaza for Israel. But what of the Palestinians who live in Gaza now?
I just think we need to kill them, every one of them, and that's it.
Speaking about more than 2 million Arabs, they will not stay there. We, Jews, will be in Gaza.
That sounds like ethnic cleansing.
That seems sociopathic.
I can...
Doesn't it?
No, not at all. This is normal.
No, a single loaf of bread should go there.
This is normal. Right, just like... I mean, again, this isn't me playing... This is me playing devil's advocate, but I still don't advocate for what Hitler did whatsoever, because I don't think genocide or anything is a proper necessity to go about things. I think it's horrible. I think it's inhuman. But let's look at what Hitler did. Was what he did was normal when it came to Jews? Take that into account. If what they're doing right now is normal to them and should be done, then I guess in the same light, then what Hitler did to Jews should have been done back then, right? That's essentially the message I'm getting from Israelis and Zionists. I want to end off with one more thing. All right, so this is a video of Gaza in July 8th of 2023 versus September 1st of last year. Looks really nice. Great city. It just looks like any other normal city. I don't even think I need to use words to describe this. I really don't. All right. That's all I got for right now. I might make another video later. We'll see how I feel. But yeah, I have no words. Because again, you got right here. Gaza in 2023 and Iran in 2026. Massacre of innocent people in the Middle East by the hand of the civilized West is happening again. Because that's what happens. When the West intervenes in other people's business, yes, we do inevitably destroy a government. Don't get me wrong, we do. But we also destroy civilian lives, creating more terrorist, quote unquote, our definition of terrorist groups, like Al Qaeda, like ISIS, which inevitably creates more problems, which we intervene, which we're basically intervening in our own problems that we created because we can't just leave let alone. Just like in Vietnam, just like in Iraq, and now just like in Iran. I'll leave you with 4 affirmations for today. Fuck Israel, fuck Zionist, fuck Donald Trump, and fuck MAGA. You have a good one.